Hi and welcome to another video by Jimthecarguy. Today we're going to talk about what do you do when you pull into a gas station to get gas. You try to open up your gas cap and nothing happens. It doesn't pop up, you don't hear any sound, you don't hear nothing. There's a couple of things it can be, but now you're at the gas station, you need to get gas in your vehicle so you can get to wherever you're headed. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go in the back of the trunk area and we're going to take a look in the trunk area. Sometimes you'll have an emergency release in there that you can pull it and pop the gas cap open. This particular vehicle is a 2008 Hyundai Santa Fe, and this one I know does have that release in the trunk. Alright, so all we're going to do is we're going to grab a screwdriver. If you don't have a screwdriver, you could take anything with a flat blade on it, whether you use a pocket knife or you can use whatever you have that's very thin, you can pop this off with. So let me bring you in the back and I'm going to show you what it's doing. But first, let me show you what's not happening with the gas cap. That's the gas cap. And as you can see, we have absolutely nothing going on. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to go into the vehicle over here, inside the vehicle. Now you have two covers in this particular case. You have this cover right here, and you also have a second cover right here. This one, I believe, could be for the side airbag. I'm not too sure what's underneath there, but you know, this is the one that we're going to talk about right here. And if you look very closely, you'll see the picture of a gas pump right there. Alright, so what you do is you come in here with a small screwdriver, put the screwdriver right in here, and just give it a little bit of a pop, just like this. It opens up, and if you look inside here, right here, is the emergency release. So you can just come in here, pull that cable, just like that, and it pops open so you can get gas in it. Alright, I'll show you one more time. And there it is. Alright? Okay, so now that we have the gas cap open, if you're sticking around to see how to diagnose it and figure out what's wrong with it, we're going to get a couple of tools and we're going to come in here, we're going to figure out what's going on with it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get a test light. We're going to go underneath the dashboard and we're going to check all the fuses underneath there that could possibly be related to this being burned out. So we're going to check all the fuses first, and if all the fuses check out okay, then we're going to open up this door panel. We're going to come into the back of this switch here and we're going to find out what's going on with that. Alright, so let me grab my test light and let's check some fuses out, and we'll hopefully find a burned out fuse, but if not, this door will be opening it up. So, alright, let me get a test light and get started. So this is how you're going to test the fuses. Now this is out underneath the hood, of course, but we're going to do the same thing underneath the dashboard. We're going to take our test light, we're going to come in and test each side of the fuse to make sure it's okay. Each one of them we're going to go through. Now if you check this with this test light and this side lights up red, like that, but you turn it on over here and it's not red, that means that fuse is burned out. So if you put this on here and it's red, the fuse got power coming in. And now if you have over here, it's got power going into the car itself. So if you have one that's lit up red and the other which doesn't do anything, then we know it's burned out. But in this case, all these fuses in here, we're going to test them, make sure they're okay, and if we do find a burned out fuse, we'll replace it, and hopefully that's going to be it. Now sometimes you'll see inside here, it'll tell you what it actually, the fuses are actually working for, fuel pump and such as that, but we don't know for sure if any of these fuses are affecting that cap. Alright, so let's test all these fuses here, and then we're going to go under the car, we're going to test under the car, and we'll make sure that, that all those fuses underneath the dashboard are okay. So let's do that. Okay, sorry about that noise, but that's just the door is open and the key is in the on position, so it's going to keep on ringing. We're going to pull this cover off, and you can see there's the fuse box down inside there. So we're going to go through each one of these again, test them. Oh. Yeah, that's a good fuse right there. But this one, you see what's happening? it's got power, and this one does not. So we have a burned out fuse. All right, so we're going to go through all of these fuses and test them all to see what they actually, if any other ones are burned out. We're going to change this fuse, and hopefully that fuse is going to have something to do with the, oh no, it's not. Okay. It's the cigarette lighter that's burned out, which is very common because when you plug something in and you unplug it, sometimes it'll burn the fuse out. Okay, we're going to check all these fuses out, and we'll see if any others are burned out. Now this is the only fuse that's burned out here. We know that this fuse here is actually for the cigarette lighter, and that's what this is for. So let's pull this out. We can use a pair of needle-nose pliers. We'll pull it out. Let's take a look at this fuse here. And you can see that it's burnt out. Let's see if you can see that. See how it's burned out right through the center right there? That's actually fairly common when you plug something into the accessory port and you pull it in and out. Sometimes that fuse burns out. All right, so now we're going to put our replacement fuse in there, like that. And then we'll check it. We're going to turn the key back on again, just so you know. So it's going to start ringing. All right. And now we're going to test it again. And you can see that now it works okay. So that had nothing to do with this over here. See? That's for the accessory for the cigarette lighters that were in here. That's what that was. All right, now we're going to come in here. We're going to open up this door panel. We're going to take this out. We're going to open up this here, take this out. We're going to come down in here. If there's any screws in here, we'll take them out. And we're going to take this door panel apart. We have a screw right here. We're going to take that out. We have a screw underneath the bottom. No, we don't. Okay. All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to open this up, and we're going to check the switch out, and let's see what's wrong with that switch. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our small little screwdriver like this. We're going to come in here. We're going to take this little cap off. Let's see if we can see that. This little cap right up here, we're going to take this off. We just get in underneath here with the end of the screwdriver and pop it, and it comes right out just like that. We're going to do the exact same thing right here. Just put it in here and give it a little pull. We'll open this piece up right here. Nothing in here. There's a screw in the back right over here. Now after we have that screw out, we'll move up to the top here and we'll unscrew these Phillips head screws as well. We'll take them out, put them on the side. Don't lose them because you're going to need to reuse these later on. We'll take out the one by the door handle in here as well. You want to check them to make sure that they all look the same because you don't want to put the wrong one in when you reassemble it in the wrong hole. All right, now we'll pull this piece here forward, up on top where the piece of plastic, where usually the speaker holder is on there. We're going to pry it with the screwdriver just to pop it out. And there's a small plug up on the top of it. You want to unplug that plug so you can remove it to get it out of your way. So now after we have that taken out, we're going to come up underneath here with a small tool, whether it's a screwdriver or a regular tool that's made to pop off the door panel. If you don't have the right tool, you can use a screwdriver. Just be careful you don't crack anything. Make sure we have no other screws, and yep, sure enough, there's one more screw there. So let's take that screw out before we do anything to pry this out. The way you get it out is just come in here with a small pick or anything that'll fit into that hole and just pull it and it pops right out, and then it exposes a screw that's underneath the bottom, a Phillips head screw. So we're going to put that piece to the side. We'll grab our screwdriver and then we'll unscrew that Phillips head screw so that's totally taken out. Now once this screw is out, it should be pretty much ready to come off, but look around to make sure you have no other screws in there. You don't want to force it and break anything. Once we're sure all the screws are out, we're going to come in and pop that bezel out of the way so that our door handle that opens the door doesn't interfere with the panel when it comes off. We'll put it to the side And now we're ready to take off the rest of the door. We're going to grab our screwdriver, or we're going to grab our tool that's made to take the door panel apart. We're going to put it up underneath the bottom. We're going to feel where those little plastic tabs are, and then we're going to slowly pull it. It's going to sound like it's breaking, but it's actually the plastic pulling away from the door. Once you have enough room to get your fingers up underneath there, you can just grab it and give it a good tug, and you'll hear them pop out. And then what you do is you bang the top of the door towards the glass. And when you're tapping on the top of the glass, the top that hooks onto the door frame itself will pop up. So keep slight pressure up with your knee on the bottom of the panel. Keep tapping it, and it'll pull right up and out. Don't rip it. Make sure you get it to unhook, because if you force it, you're going to bend it, and it will not go back together correctly. So make sure everything's disconnected, and then just play with it until it pops up and out of there. Okay, that's it. Door panel is now off. Let's go in the back and see what our electrical plugs look like in the back. Now this is the switch in the back right here. This is the switch that opens and closes the trunk release itself. And this is our plug here. So now we're going to come in here with a test light, and we're going to check for power and ground right there. So we're going to grab our test light here. Pull our test light. As you can see, it's got power there, and it's got nothing there. So now I'm going to just leave this connected. Okay, and now I'm going to pull the release. Nothing happens. Okay, so let's manually press this button here. We're going to bring power in. And now you can see the gas cap popped open. Let me show you one more time. Okay, you know what? Let me take this switch out, and I'll show you, while it's sitting on the bench here. I don't know if you can see this too good. Okay, so we have, any connection right there, with no power. And here we have power, which is good, so we know that the circuit is good. All right, hopefully you can see this. There you have power here, and over here we have nothing. We're going to pull the switch, and nothing happens. Again, power, and nothing. But we can manually bring power into this part of the switch here, and you can hear it pop. As you can see, it opens up. Okay, so now we know that everything back here is working properly, and the problem is in this switch right here. All right, so let's take that switch out. This is a tough spot to get in and film it. Okay, just to make this easier so I can show you what to do, I'm going to take this panel off the car itself, and we're going to put it in the back, in the trunk, and we're going to work on it. We're going to push these little tabs right in here and just rock it back and forth. That little tab right there, you push it in and you take this out. Same thing over here. We're going to press this tab in right here. Take that out. Same thing on this one. Press the tab in there. It's the lock clip. We're going to push that clip in like that. And we'll unplug this, and we can take the door panel, and we'll put this in the back of the car right now. Okay, so let's take this piece here out now so we can pop that out. We're going to take out these two screws right here, just so we can get in there a little bit easier without breaking anything. We're going to unscrew this one, and this one. Okay, we're going to lift off this bracket. Let's take this off of here as well. Okay, we're going to put this off to the side because we are going to reuse this. And now we need to take out that switch right there. And the way you do that is that little tab. Hopefully you can see that little tab right there. You just push it in, and push. Get that same tab on the bottom over here as well. Just like that. Save those screws, you don't want to lose them. Okay. And now we'll take our switch, push it, and it comes right out, just like this here. And this is the switch that we need to replace. Because remember, we had power coming in, but when we pulled the switch, it wasn't completing the circuit, and therefore we had no power going here, and it wouldn't open it up. All right, so let's order up a new switch for it. We'll get the new switch and we'll put this job back together and we'll get this job out the door. Okay, well, we just got off the phone with the Hyundai dealer. They do not have it in stock. We have to order it, so it'll take a day or two to get it. And once we get the switch in hand, we'll put this job back together. But that's pretty much it. Just check your power coming in. When you pull the switch and it doesn't open, check to make sure power out. If you have a power probe or some kind of a device that you can bring power into it, you can jump it out, and if the cap opens up, then we know the switch is no good. All right, so once we get the new switch, we'll put this back together and this job is done, and on to the next one. And now that we have our replacement switch, we're going to come up underneath the bottom. We're going to make sure we have this switch in the correct direction so it's not upside down. And of course, you can tell by looking at the switch itself, make sure that the gas pump picture is right side up. We're going to take the switch, we're going to put it in from the front of the door, pushing it into the back. It is a little bit tight to go through there, so you have to really give it a lot of force to get it to pop into position. And once it pops in and it's locked in place, we just bring our metal bracket over that came off, situate it on top of it where it previously came from, and then we put the two screws in there to hold the switch in place. It's an extra reinforcement to hold the switch in place. So once we have those screws screwed in, we're going to put our electrical connector back onto the little tab that it belongs, and then we're going to go up, we're going to put the tool back together, and we're going to wrap this job up. The next thing we do is we just come up underneath here, and we're going to take all of these plugs and we're going to plug them back in. You just push them until you hear them snap in place. Put this piece back in here. Plug all these plugs back in. Okay. And then we're going to take our door, we're going to hook this top edge on first. It's going to be hooked over the top just like this. And you push it down. Tap it down. Okay. And now once it's snapped it up on the top, then you can go ahead and push all these little pins back in position down here. Okay. Let's test this out, of course. And you heard that pop. Okay. Now we're going to come down the bottom here. We're going to see why this is not going in here. There it is. Okay, we're going to reinstall the screws that we previously took out. We're going to take this piece here that we previously removed, plug it in here, and then snap this in place. And we have these little pins that go in here. Okay. We're going to take this plug here that came with this. We're going to put it in here. There's only one way it can go in. Line it up with that little groove right in there. And we'll push it in. And last, we're going to take this piece, lift this out like this, Slide this over the top, push it in place like this. And last, we're going to put a screw right here. And then push that little tab over. And that's it. Now let's just test everything, make sure it works okay. Now remember, our key has got to be in the on position to test the windows, but this we know works perfectly. Windows work. Lock and unlock works. And that's it, we're in good shape. Okay, so that's it, the job is all done. Just make sure your push pins pop back in. The door will be held in this position where it's supposed to be. Put your screws in, and of course put your cap back over the top just to make sure that everything works properly. This is a very common problem. The door switch goes, the gas cap door switch goes bad all the time. And this is the switch itself. This is the defective part. All right, this is pretty much just power coming in, and when you press the button or pull the button, that's when it completes the circuit and pops it open in the back. All right, this job is done, and we're on to the next. All right, as always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.